First and foremost, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Japanese English-speaking YouTubers who always assist me in my English studies, as well as to the various applications and tools. From now on, I will discuss my Q&A about my English entirely in English. I want to clarify from the beginning that I've prepared all my English responses in advance with ChatGPT's help. The reason I made this video is to create an opportunity to share my thoughts and what I've learned, and also to record my current pronunciation. The decision to make this video was sparked by a comment from Philip, who I always exchange messages online. One day, he said he wanted to see my room, so I thought, why not make a room tour video in English and send it to him? It seemed like a great way to learn the names of things in my room and to express my thoughts. Then, a thought struck me. Wait a minute! Before diving into a room tour, wouldn't it be an incredibly effective study method to create a video discussing my English and hobbies? Topics I've meticulously gathered and explained in English? Motivated by this idea, I decided to kick things off with a video focusing on my journey with English. Going forward, I plan to create more videos, including Q&As about my hobbies and acupuncture, as well as room tour videos. Here's how this Q&A was developed. First, I had ChatGPT come up with questions about my English. Then, I wrote my responses in Japanese. After that, I had ChatGPT translate those accurately into English, and I'll be speaking from those scripts. However, I did look up and study any words or grammatical structure in the scripts that were unfamiliar to me, using ChatGPT of course. So please keep in mind that what I'm saying isn't being thought up on the spot but has been prepared in advance. Let's get started! 1. Start practicing slow English conversation. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start the moment the idea strikes you. Just the other day, while I was taking a bath, I suddenly decided to resume my slow English conversation practice. Initially, I planned to start on February 1st, but I decided to begin right away. 2. My method is as follows. 1. I translate my daily actions and feelings into English. 2. Once I have a good number of sentences, I'll use an AI voice generator called 11 Labs to create audio of my sentences in my own voice with a British accent. 3. I'll repeatedly shadow these recordings. I decided to start now because by the end of January, I'll have finished organizing various tasks. For my 2024 tax filings, I'm switching from handwritten bookkeeping to cloud accounting software called Money Forward, which should free up more time. 3. I'll translate my daily thoughts, conscious efforts, and current situation into English. I'll begin with topics that might come up in future conversations and translate them one by one. A crucial aspect of practicing English conversation on my own is to keep sentences short and simple. Starting in February, I'll intensify my efforts even more. 4. I overslept by about an hour today. After that, I spent a little over 2 hours studying English while having breakfast. Then, I drove to Starbucks to do some video editing and clear my mind. Later, I went to another Starbucks and used their one more coffee system where the second cup of coffee is cheaper. 5. At the second Starbucks, I had a hot coffee and tried their new chocolate rice flour muffin. I ordered it because I had tried a banana rice flour muffin a few times before, and it was delicious. The new one was tasty too, but I forgot to ask them to warm it up. Next time, I'll make sure to do that. 6. Later, I'll head home to cook some rice, wash and hang my denim pants, and prepare some curry to store. For dinner, I'll have some frozen grilled meat with rice, nut and egg, okra, and miso soup. Then, I'll freeze the curry and rice in small portions. After that, I'll do a biceps and shoulder workout, then go to the public bath. When I get back, I'll enjoy the curry and rice I made earlier along with a protein shake. 7. To preserve the dark blue color on the outside, I only washed the inside of my denim pants. Turning denim inside out and washing it in hot water seems to help prevent color fading, while also sterilizing and reducing odors. 8. My old shaver stopped working properly, so I ordered a new one from Amazon. I paid for it in 2 installments on my credit card. Both my old shaver and the new one are from Philips. 9. The model I bought this time isn't just a shaver. It also includes a hair clipper attachment, a nose hair trimmer, and an automatic cleaning function. The manual says it's gentle on the skin and gives a closer shave than the previous model. It also comes with a dedicated case which makes it easy to carry around. 10. I'm running later than planned, so I'll go to the public bath tomorrow instead. 11. 1. I've got everything ready to ship the electronic device I sold on Mercari. 2. I managed to sell an item originally priced at 38,400 yen for 19,000 yen shipping included. 3. After 10% sales commission, the profit comes to 17,100 yen. 4. Considering its size, it qualifies for the U-Pack 120, which costs over 1,610 yen, so the profit is roughly 50,000 yen. 12. This is my blissful moment. 13. I've finally found the time to focus on my English studies. However, I still have a few tasks left to do. 14. Let's also fit in some leisure reading as a break while studying English. 15. My current method for studying English involves first organizing my thoughts in Japanese and writing down what I want to say in Japanese. I then use ChatGPT to translate them accurately for me. If there are any words or grammar points I don't understand in the translation, I look them up to ensure I fully understand them. After that, I use an app to generate English audio and practice shadowing with it. While shadowing, I try to visualize the content of the sentences and express them with emotion. Because I'm creating sentences about things I want to convey, it's easier to form an emotional connection and remember them better than with example sentences from a vocabulary book. 16. Even I, who usually feel cold, find it a bit hot today. Recently, I've been eating fish about 4 to 5 times a week. That's really healthy, isn't it? To save time, I try to eat my meals while stopped at red lights during car rides. Time isn't something that just comes to you. You have to create it by being efficient and making smart choices with how you use it. 17. Today, I tried the gyudon light at Sukiya for the first time. This dish doesn't include rice, instead it has tofu at the bottom, topped with a salad, and finally beef on top. I've had a similar dish at Yoshinoya before, but the one from Sukiya was much better. I'm thinking of cutting down on carbs from now on. Instead, I'll focus on getting more proteins and vegetables. 18. I aim to post at least one solo conversation in English on my Instagram story every day. Instead of striving for perfection from the start, let's begin by building a habit of consistency. For the content of my posts, I'll focus on topics that deeply resonate with my feelings and emotions. This is because such content is more likely to stick in my memory. 19. A large bowl of beef tendon stew over rice for just 350 yen is an unbeatable deal. The miso was perfectly infused and delicious. There wasn't much beef tendon or green onions, but it was loaded with konjac jelly and daikon radish. I'd guess there's about 250 to 300 grams of rice in there. Eating too many carbs can make me instantly sleepy, so I'll probably stick to a regular portion of rice next time. With this one meal, I might have eaten as much daikon as I did in the whole last year, or maybe even more. I hardly ever eat daikon. 20. Here's what I'm having for dinner tonight. What a healthy meal. Today's main dish is mackerel simmered in soy sauce, which I had previously bought from a bento shop and stored in the freezer. When I eat at home, I usually have rice with miso soup and natto fermented soybeans mixed with okra and egg. I also eat broccoli quite often. I prepare miso soup and broccoli in batches enough for 3 meals. I eat one portion on the day I make it and store the leftovers in the fridge for later. 21. Today was unbelievably cold. It looks like the marugame udon I sometimes stop by on my way home to eat is closing the day after tomorrow. That's a shame because it's such a convenient location for me. I've recently noticed that while marugame's udon is always delicious, the thickness and texture can vary slightly depending on who makes it. I usually just order udon, but today, I also got some maitake mushroom tempura. I was influenced to order it after seeing the person in front of me do the same. These things happen from time to time, don't they? And I love maitake tempura as much as if not more than shrimp tempura. Maitake tastes best when made into tempura and sprinkled with salt. The softness and flavor of the maitake combined with the crispy texture of the tempura are a perfect match. It's as well matched as Ash and Pikachu in Pokemon and Giant and Suneo in Doraemon. 22. Something a little strange happened. I went to a bookstore to look for a book on interior design and asked a staff member where I could find it. They said, "It used to be around here," and showed me where it had been before, saying, "I'll go look for it, so please wait here." And then, they never came back. While I was waiting, I got bored and looked at the section in front of me, which turned out to be the English books section. There are various textbooks, but I didn't think any of them would be really useful for speaking English myself. However, I found a book of conversational English phrases for soliloquies. When I looked inside, there were so many example sentences that I could see myself actually using. I immediately bought the book online. 23. I just started adding boiled eggs to the banana blueberry yogurt and tomato juice I usually have during my morning study routine today. They are not only filling but also a great source of protein. I've always loved the taste of boiled eggs, but I used to avoid making them because they were a hassle. 24. However, a childhood friend recently showed me 2 gadgets, one that makes boiling eggs a breeze and another that makes peeling them a snap. Thanks to these, making boiled eggs is now much simpler. I'm grateful to my friend, and it's incredible how many handy gadgets have become available in recent years. Every day, I'm grateful to be living in such a convenient era. 25. I can see why so many people want to use a DeLuca tote bag. I used to think that many people use the DeLuca bag just for their design. However, after buying one and using it myself, I realized that they are also very functional. The one I have is made from a much sturdier and more durable material than I had expected. 26. I'm grateful for the sunny weather we've had for 2 days straight. It really lifts my spirits. However, the wind has been strong both yesterday and today. When it's this windy, it feels about 5 degrees colder than it actually is. 27. I didn't know that could be used as an adverb meaning so much. It was a great learning experience. 28. Oops, I messed up big time. I dropped my phone in the yogurt. I've got to clean it up. While I was studying earlier, I accidentally dropped my phone in the yogurt and thought, what a blunder. But at the same time, I thought this would make a great topic for my English journal. That's because sentences and words from situations where I have strong emotion tend to stick in my memory better. 29. I thought it would be over quickly, so I didn't bring my laptop. I also left my books at home today. What should I do to pass the time? There must be plenty of things I can do. 30. There are some words where British and American English pronunciations differ. Ideally, it would be best to learn both and adapt your pronunciation depending on which version of English your conversation partner is using. However, I'll start by learning British English pronunciation first. Also, many Japanese English words have pronunciations closer to British English. 31. I received a handmade acrylic scrubber from a patient. You're so talented with your hands. 32. At dinner time, I usually watch comedy shows on YouTube. And now, whenever I come across stories about successful people's struggles, I always get really into them. 33. Whenever I come across words with similar nuances, I make it a point to fully understand their differences. Doing this takes up a significant amount of time to process. However, I believe that understanding and mastering these subtle differences will enable me to have deeper communication with native English speakers in the future. 34. To help it stick in my memory, I write it down here. 35. I didn't know there was a pattern like this. I'll make a note of this as well. 36. I believe that grasping the subtle nuances between words can lead to more meaningful communication with native English speakers. 37. Today has been pretty overwhelming since the morning in a good way. While the number of things I don't understand has gradually decreased, there's still moments when some concepts are hard to grasp. You come to understand these things gradually by encountering the same patterns repeatedly. There's no need to get everything all at once. I believe it's better to take your time and understand things bit by bit. Of course, it's always great if you can get it in one go. 38. Learning from my previous reflections, I brought my laptop with me today. This allowed me to get some work done during the waiting time. Over the past few years, I've realized just how important it is to make the most of my time, given all the things I want to accomplish. 39. It might take some time, but I make sure to address even the smallest doubts one by one. It's really a case of slow and steady wins the race. 40. I've noticed that my water intake has decreased recently. It's probably due to the cold weather. I just don't feel like drinking water when it's cold, so I've set a daily goal of drinking 2 liters of water. To help me reach this goal, I've decided to use a 1-liter bottle as a guide for my daily intake. 41. Just browsing through the titles at the bookstore and flipping through a few pages can make me feel like I've become a slightly better person. For some reason, I regularly feel the urge to drop by the bookstore. 42. I'm starting to feel the urge to go on another trip just to binge read books. 43. I felt like having a chocolate fashion today, but it was sold out, so I went for a strawberry flavored pondering instead. According to ChatGPT, Mr. Donut has been using oil that significantly reduced trans fat since around 2007. Learning things like this makes me feel it's okay to indulge a little. Sometimes you need it. Trying to maintain a perfect diet and then accumulating stress, only to binge eat or drink one day, defeats the purpose. A lot of what's important in life is a marathon, not a sprint. Every time I visit Mr. Donut, I'm always torn between getting a pondering or a chocolate fashion. 44. The other day, while I was driving, I asked Siri to play some music and it picked a very nostalgic song. It made me laugh. 45. I completely forgot to share my March goals. If I can accomplish this by the end of the month, it would be an incredible achievement. If I manage to do it, I'll spend the first Sunday in April doing absolutely nothing, just relaxing. Maybe I'll even take a trip to Shizuoka or something. 46. I'll put it here to remind myself to cook the rice as soon as I get home. 47. I hardly ever get the chance to do ogiri, a form of Japanese comedic improv, but I'm really curious about what goes on in the minds of comedians. I found an incredibly delicious looking pork bowl shop in front of the bookstore. I'll definitely go there someday. I'm super excited about it. 48. This is how I usually go about buying books. If a title catches my eye, I start by checking the table of contents. If that looks promising, I read only the sections that are in bold. If those sections seem to contain information I want to learn about, then I decided to buy the book. 49. I'm thinking of dedicating Saturday mornings to stretching and reading. When I revisit a book I've already read, I only go back to the parts that I highlighted in bold. If something particularly catches my interest, I make sure to read the sections immediately before and after the bolded text as well. I'll do some reading while I stretch. I'm reading while I stretch. I was reading while I stretched. 50. There has been a huge translation error.